fellow collectors, back with part 3 of my type variety set, dimes, and 120-cent piece. I'm going to start out with the 1830 bust dime. These were produced from 1809 to 1837. This one has a mintage of just over 500,000. This is about a fine 12. Small 10-cent variety, and only paid $19 for this back in 1996. Now worth north of 80 bucks, so not too bad a return. Next up is 1837. Actually just purchased this one kind of by mistake. I was going to put it in my Dansko dime album and forgot that these were just a little bit bigger than the normal ones. This is another one in about a fine 12. Still some good detail on the reverse. Full Liberty on the cap. Moving into the seated dimes, start with an 1852. These were produced from 1837 to 1890. This one's about a very fine 20. Again, if you've done some coin collecting before, you know a lot of different varieties in the seated series. Not as many with the dimes as there is with like the quarters and the 50-cent pieces. Next up, in 1854 with the arrows, and that's what I was talking about with the varieties. The arrows indicated a change in weight. This one's just about an XF40. Good detail on the shield, pretty good detail on the gown and the face. Full Liberty. Next up, one that's a pretty nice one here, another XF40, 1876. And this one is Carson City. So, again, fair detail for an XF. And down there is where you can see the CC for Carson City. About 8 million of these were minted, so pretty high mintage for back then. And last in the series of the seededs, 1889, San Francisco Mint on an AU. I'm not sure about that AU. I think the last one that was labeled an XF looks a little bit better than this one does. Next up are the barber dimes, which were 1892 to 1916. Just got 4 of them. There are really no varieties other than different mint marks, so I've got one of each of the mint marks. Start off with 1905. And about an AU. And that is the New Orleans Mint. Next up, a 1909, another AU coin. This one was a little on the expensive side, about 3 million minted. And that is a D, mint mark right down there. Actually, that is an O. No, that's a D. I might have these out of order. Yes, I do. That is a got them out of order, so there was just under 1 million of these minted. Here's a 1916, and this one's going to be San Francisco Mint. In about an XF. Not a real expensive coin. And actually, here is the 1905 O. I had that out of order. And we're looking at about an EU. And this one is a little more up in price. Actually, that one does not have a mint mark. I've got to go back and look at my inventory here. I've got something out of place. Yeah, this was a 1905 AU 14 million minted. So I kind of had these backwards. Sorry about that. Moving on to the Mercury dimes. They were produced 1916 to 1945. This is the first year. And I've got that listed as, the camera is not doing these any favors here. 1916. At that listed, the seller had it at a 65 full bands. And you can see the bands are full on here. Next up, 1931 D, and about an AU again. And you can see the difference here with from a full band to a notch. You see how the bands are flattened out. And normally the tough one to get is the center band. Get that full split. And down here is our mint mark. Next up, 1941. About an MS-63, the seller says. And gets. Next up, 1945 Micro S. And when we flip around, we'll show you the. These were 41 million of these produced, and that included the Micro S and the regular S. And again, right down is the mint mark. You'll see the next coin, it's pretty subtle difference, but just a slightly smaller S than on the regular size. And this one got some toning right at the S, so it's even more difficult to see. This one's got quite a bit of toning on it. Moving into Roosevelt dimes. Those were in 1946 to present. And we're starting off here with the 1949 S. BU. And right there is your mint mark on these. Moving to a 1955 S, another mint state coin. Moving to a 1957 proof. And a 1959. And another mint state coin. And another 1959. This one is the D mint. And a 1964, last year of the silver. This is also a D mint. $19.79 proof S. Some of these I just kind of threw in the typeset because I had them. And this one actually is a variety. It's called the filled S, meaning it's not real clear. It's probably not going to come out on camera real good. And a 1992 S, and this is a silver proof. And again, this one is from a typeset that I opened up. That's not half bad cameo. Take a closer look at that. And the 1996 W, West Point. And a 2005 D. This was, I got it listed as a satin finish. Yes, I'm not real sure how to really tell the difference on them. If you have an idea, put it in the comments. And a 2006 P, also got listed as satin finish. And finally, for the dimes, we got the 2018 reverse proof. And just one more in today's video, we've got the 20-cent piece. This one is not in the greatest condition. 1875 and I bought a fine. And I actually bought this back in 1988. This was one of my first coins that I bought. Kind of glad I bought it then. Got it for $48 back then. It's now north of $150. And there's our mint mark right down there. Not a bad reverse. A nice full rim. Pretty good detail on the feathers. But the 20-cent pieces are getting expensive. So if you can latch onto one at a good price, grab it up. Okay, thanks for watching. I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. Try and get a few more viewers. And next up are going to be the quarters. And you're going to want to stay tuned for those. There's some good ones in there. Thanks for watching.